Thank you for listening to my podcast. My name is Sylvie, and I want to start this podcast by telling you that I received a lot of questions about what helped me in my journey. To answer these questions, I wrote an ebook about the 7 things that helped me the most. You can download it for free and receive it right away in your inbox. Click on the link in the description or go to my website, theconcussioncommunity.com is the first thing you will see. I hope it's helping you. For now, let's continue with this episode. Living my life with an invisible scar. Having a concussion is hard to understand for outsiders because you don't look sick. An invisible scar is something people with concussions know far too well. Most of us are dealing with ongoing struggles and pain. Waking up and falling asleep with headaches and many other symptoms are something you can't describe to people who are not going through the same roller coaster. A concussion is something that will enter your life at the most unexpected moments. You don't feel like the same person anymore, or you want to be the old person so badly, but you can't because of your symptoms. But what if those symptoms are not visible to other people and you can't explain them well? What if you go to the doctor for a CT or MRI scan, but all tests come out negative? You're the only one that is feeling those symptoms and no one can see or confirm them, only you. I experience many symptoms daily: light and noise sensitivity, blurred vision, dizziness, seeing spots, ringing ears, incoordination issues, fatigue, weakness, nausea, and I am way more emotional. After a year, I finally got the diagnosis of a concussion by a doctor who understood my symptoms. But this diagnosis brought my dreams to a screaming halt. I had to pause everything for such a long time. Not doing my job and pausing my social life were the hardest thing to accept. It felt like my world stopped. In the beginning, everyone understands you need rest and people are reaching out to you to ask how you're doing. But still, having symptoms after more than a year becomes hard for outsiders to understand because you don't look sick. My life for a long time consisted eat, rest, sleep, repeat, day in, day out. I always leaned on my family and friends for support, but some people weren't as understanding. Some people and even doctors assumed it was all in my head. I got a referral to a psychologist with a note of an anxiety disorder. I felt so misunderstood and frustrated. Many people are still unaware of how a concussion can impact every aspect of someone's life. It's difficult to describe your symptoms without being able to show it and the subsequent impact it has on someone's lives and plans. I describe my injury as an invisible journey, as an invisible pain, as an invisible scar. People don't know what's happening on the inside, but it can be a challenge for those dealing with concussion symptoms. For the first 2 years, I was unable to talk to people about my accident without it resulting in tears. It was like my world was falling apart and I didn't know how to fix it. I pretended many times that everything was fine. I did not want a concussion to define me. Despite the suffering, I always tried to stay positive and to move forward with my recovery in life. I managed to put my health first and to make progress in my recovery. I just couldn't accept it, and it made me much more motivated to go after it and to pursue it. A concussion recovery can be a dark place and it can be easy to lose hope, but it's so important to never give up. Even if people and doctors tell you that you have to live with it, I want you to know that there is always help out there. Don't lose hope and try new treatments to get better. Have hope and faith and believe that it would get better because it will. Thank you for listening to my podcast. I really hope this was helpful for you. If it was, I would love it if you share it on Instagram, in a story, or in a post, and tag the Concussion Community in it. I just love to see who is listening. And one last thing, are you listening on Spotify or on Apple Podcasts? Would you maybe do one small thing in return? Leave a short review? The more reviews this podcast will get, the easier it is for other people to find this podcast and to feel less alone and lost in their journey. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you next time.